Oh. The MTG podcast is a virtual space for women and men in the tech and creative industries.
Tune in as we put it all on the table, sharing authentic life truths as we sustain and empower each other in search of our tribe.
We're more than a designer. We're more than our name badge. We're more than the work we produce.
Welcome to the More Than Graphics podcast.
We're that tribe. What's up, y'all? Woo woo! Right?
National Podcast Day.
Oh, I love it. You totally jumped the gun.
Closest thing I had.
I love it. Okay, y'all. Welcome. Hello. We're live with the More Than Graphics podcast. I'm Danielle.
I'm Priscilla.
And our third sister is actually on her way in. So it's going to be a really cool conversation that we're going to just lightly have today. If you're new to this space, holy cow. Welcome to a whole bunch of weird sisters that get together and talk on a podcast. I love the fact that this space continues to be a safe place for women in tech and women creatives. Thus is MTG, the More Than Graphics podcast. So if you're new, welcome. This is the space for you. We hope that we can be your tribe with a vibe. So normally in this space, sometimes we have a guest. Sometimes it's just us. We normally have some deeper conversations in and around our plight, our struggles as women in tech in a very man-driven industry, and what that looks like for us on a day-to-day basis, and the challenges and things that we as personal women have to go through in order to kind of be better than yesterday, right? So all those steps that we talk about mentally and emotionally, physically sometimes that we have to go through, we kind of discuss this on a regular basis on this podcast. But today is not that moment. Today we are just flat out celebrating. Priscilla is like one of our best, and let me just say, not even one of our best. She is the social media expert. And so it's so funny that Priscilla started as a guest, right? You started as a guest.
Season 1.
Now, yeah, right. Oh my gosh, from the very beginning, we're in season 5 right now, y'all. Yeah. And she is a official co-host. So it's so cool to see this come full circle and celebrating diversity in this way. Ooh, look at here. Who decided to join us today?
Yeah, hello. I promise I'll be camera on shortly. I'm getting my life together, y'all. Y'all know me.
I was thinking that was you just being, I was like, look at her all.
I know, right? That's why I was like, okay.
I was like, where's my
all right,
you
so
got me nervous. You got me nervous all the time.
Oh, stop it.
All right, if y'all are watching from any place, no matter if you're listening from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from where we at? YouTube. If you're listening from any of these places, give us a shout in the comments. Let us know that you're here, you're listening, you're celebrating. It is International Podcast Day. We are one of very few femme podcasts out there in the world who are ranked top 10% by listennotes.com. Also recent new top 100 podcasts for self-improvement by Good Pods. We are celebrating, right? She did it right.
I love it. We need the woo and the noise and the speakers and everything.
But yeah, I'm just happy to be in the space. Being comfortable in podcasting, period. Like, right? Like for some people, podcasting can be a scary, not so cool place. But for us, it's just everyday conversation. I think we've built up enough within ourselves and our communities where people just kind of know that's our thing. That's what we do. So let's just kind of go round circle real quick. I'll start with Priscilla. What's new in your world? And for people who don't know who you are, award-winning entrepreneur.
I got a new chair.
Oh, hey, chair.
It's a drafting chair.
Yes. She's drafting
for my standing desk.
I love it.
Well, my new thing is, let's see, I'm going to be, I'm part of Octane's, I blanked out. Sorry. Q1.
Woohoo!
Marketing Essentials. And it's exciting because last year I was a student, and the student turns to a teacher, right?
We love it. A full circle.
Very exciting. It is, and it's exciting because of the topping and the topic in which Danielle has coerced me into doing is things that I know about. Why would I talk about things that I know about? Don't get distracted by the cat in the backyard. In the backyard over there.
In the backyard, I love it. Well, you guys
eyes were like, "What's moving back?"
Cat screaming, so you're in good company.
Yeah. So that's what's new with me.
Well, I'm super excited that I coerced you into being part of the Q1 team this year. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I love the fact that we get to work in spaces, but also kind of be ourselves in spaces. So it's kind of like double whammy.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what you doing? It's no different than me talking to you on a Monday or Tuesday. Hey, what are you doing?
I love it.
It's pretty cool stuff. Okay, Cicely, you're up.
I know. I just wanted to comment that when Danielle told me that you, Priscilla, were joining Q1 Essentials, I was very excited about it. And then when I saw your little picture come across on the advertisement, on the announcement, it made me that much happier. And when she told me, I was like, who else? Like, who else would you have picked? It only makes sense. So I'm very excited to see you step into your teaching era and really own the knowledge that you have and really just grow and pass that knowledge on to others. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
You and the cat and the chair. I'm excited for all of you.
Zelda.
Right. For me, I am starting. So they broke our semester into 2. So I just finished my pediatrics class, got a B. I'm done, took my final. So my next and last class of nursing school is about to start on Monday. I'll be done at the end of November. I'm so excited. Like, it feels like it's surreal to finally get to this point. So I'm so happy. Like, school will be a thing of the past. And I say that, and then a year from now, I'll be in school doing something else.
Right.
Because I'm ridiculous. But yeah, it's been a long time coming, and I'm just so happy. And I know that life happens the way it's supposed to happen. And sometimes in the moment you think things are terrible and it's tragic and you're never going to get to where you're going. But I finally, this semester, these last few months, I felt like I'm in that downward, positive downward slide where I'm right about to reach where I want to be. And wow, the relief and the sense of accomplishment is just so exciting. And then there are things that I've told you already, so still waiting to hear news from other things that I will share at a later date. But some people on the podcast will know, but our listeners will not know for a little bit longer. So very ambiguous. I love being very vague. It's so much fun. So good things brewing. Life is good. We're in spooky season now. It's my favorite month of the year, even though I'm a winter baby, but I have a fall baby. I love Halloween. Danielle's been ready since August, so it's a great time of year.
August last year.
Literally. She was ready after Christmas. She was already ready. January 1. She's like retail shops, right? Oh my gosh, yes, it gets earlier and earlier. They're talking about it. January 1, they're like, it's Halloween again. That's Danielle.
I thank you.
We love you though.
Thank you for that. I'll take that. It's a complete compliment.
It is.
I love it because as we kind of talk about all these things that kind of nerd us and muse us, it has nothing to do, y'all, with actual technology or much creativity at this point. I love it because I hope that people are seeing us as genuine people in the world that do cool things in and around these spaces, but we actually are mused like anybody else, but the things that are just in our vibe. And I love that it happens to be Halloween seems to be really kind of big on that list. Mm-hmm. Pumpkins and fall is my jam. I love fall. Everything. Yeah. So as you may, if you follow me on my TikTok, you see what I've been doing the past, I don't know, couple months, leading up to current seasons. So you can see that I've been pretty busy. When I'm not using my virtual hands to make something amazing from blank canvases, I'm using my hands physically to actually build cool stuff. So I really am glad that the three of us in so many different aspects are, really showcasing a different type of diversity. Not only are we diverse because it's in our melanin, but diverse because we actually are different diverse groups of women representing so many different eras and stages of life. And I think that's really, really pretty, honestly. And I was trying to think of a more defined word, but it really is just beautiful to see the vibrancy of diversity in different spaces that are not as common. Let me just I'm cautious when I say that word. But I think it's really cool to have that vibrancy present. So for me, I haven't done much. I've just been working and putting together this diversity, this this diverse digital marketing cohort. Q1 Essentials. I've been working on that quite a bit. Life has been pretty busy as we're kind of life shifting with all things kids, all the stuff. And I think it's just really interesting too that we're all obviously moms. We flourish in different ways in our family life. And I think it's so unique also that still seems to be a binding for all three of us as well. So we kind of we understand sometimes we have to go dark in order to kind of get to the other side, right? We have to go rogue. And I love it because I think that adds that extra spontaneity and the spunk to our show in regards to women in tech and women creative. So I am a graphic designer, a third generation entrepreneur. I love the fact that I wake up every day to a beautiful group, including Priscilla, beautiful group of women from around the world every single day. And it's really unique for me to walk into this podcast as a person of color, knowing that I represent a very, very small percentage of women in tech. Specifically in the areas of, there she is, specifically in the areas of graphic design, web design, digital marketing. And then for you, Priscilla, like you specifically work in a lot of the same similar areas of graphic design, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just really cool to have that perspective of someone who's been in there longer than I have. And then for you, Cicely, like you're in the med tech space, right? Like we are really kind of showcasing all the different ways that you can show up, right, in tech as women. So for International Podcast Day, I'm here to just light torches. That's where I'm at this point. Like, let's go. If you're a woman in tech, if you are a person of color thriving in any area of tech or creative industry, we're here for you. Like this, we want this place to be your place. It helps if you technically also have female parts that you kind of associate with, like that helps too, because we're all about women. And we're all about helping in that space. We all about identifying ourselves. If you identify as a woman, that's what we want to celebrate right there. Absolutely. So that's what we're here for. So anywho, I say all of this just so that people who are brand new, have never seen us or heard of us before, can kind of find a place of belonging or maybe a spark of interest to continue to listen to some of the other podcast episodes that we have going on. So let me just segue straight into Global Diversity Awareness Month, right? That's what October is, starting tomorrow. Tomorrow is October, y'all. How do y'all feel? Like,
elated.
Y'all? Well, I know why you're elated, Cicely, because I mean, it's like, fall. Like, I'm done. It's cool. Like,
right.
Things,
like, bye-bye.
Right?
I'm out of here. Great weather, pumpkins. I had pecan pie today.
Shush, you did not. Pecan pie, really?
Did. Okay, so we got to take a quick little detour. So at Kroger, they have these little like they look like they're homemade, like someone's grandma just put them in a little box. I can't remember the brand, but they're like $1.49. They're like little personal size pecan pie, lemon pie, chocolate pie. I think they have strawberry.
Are they in the craft, like little craft brown cardboard?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, I've seen them.
Oh my gosh. I took one of those little babies home. I heated it up in the oven for like literally 2-3 minutes. Put a little whipped cream on there. It was the best thing I've ever tasted in a long time. It tasted like someone's grandma made it. It wasn't too sweet. The crust was perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm gonna have to go back tomorrow and buy more. That's how good it was.
I need to get on this level
just to try it. And I was like, okay, because I don't want to buy the whole pie. No one else in the house likes pecan pie but me. And I'm like, I know I'm not gonna eat like a whole 9-inch pie. Like, that's too much. So I was like, oh, little baby pie. Let's try it.
It's not too much. It's not too much, Cicely. Well, it's too much if you eat it at once.
That's I ate it over like a week, but that's still
over a week. Yeah, no.
Still too much.
There's always a second. There's always a second lunch, a second dinner.
Stop it! A second dessert, all the things.
I do that.
Ooh, that's so like
with your medicine.
So Euro, like second breakfast.
Yeah, you got to take food with your medicine.
I love the take on. I love it. But anyone, if you like different little sorts of pies, you got to go to Kroger. And if I can find the name, like the actual brand of it, I will tell you all. But I can't believe how good it was. And I'm like very picky about pastries. Table Talk. It's Table Talk, old fashioned baked pecan pie, chocolate pie, lemon pie. They have a little pumpkin pie as well. I didn't see that one available.
Okay.
Cherry, all the things. So if you want just a little treat to yourself, you don't want to share with the kids, maybe that'd be something nice to have.
Oh, I see it right now. I just pulled it right on up here. You got cherry pie.
Yes, ma'am.
I love
other kind of pie, shrimp
it's
pie.
in my shopping cart as we speak on my Kroger order. I was not playing. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. Ryan said, said the lemon pie is really good too. So I'll be trying that as well.
Hey, Cicely, there's a baked chocolate eclair. Shut your faces.
From the same company?
From the same company.
Oh, okay.
DoorDash offers to bring it to you.
She's like, I'm just putting it out
promo code. Come on, DoorDash, let's go.
That $1.50. That $1.50 sure.
If you order other stuff, we can justify that, right? If you order some milk and some other things to go along with it,
gift with purchase.
We can justify anything at this point. But I love that. So anyone, if you're in the fall feels, those little tarts, like the little pies, they're perfect to kind of get you in the mood and really just indulge in a little self what do you call it? Like self personal pan, like that used to pizzas from Pizza Hut. They're just enough. So I'm a fan now. I'll be writing them a letter. I'm gonna go on their website and be like, this is the best damn pie I've ever had outside of my granny's. Thank you guys.
You brought back so many memories. I'm sure they actually probably have reviews like that say that. Like Absolutely. This was next to grandma's. Like
it was so good.
If only you guys were like able to, like, if you had a road trip coming up, that'd be great for you to have it packed up in the car, right?
I know. Who goes on road trips to the Ohio area from Kentucky? Wow. I don't know who does that.
Y'all too much. Okay.
I'm sure Cincinnati has a Kroger.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I need to see, like, the other thing I've been looking for at Kroger is their pumpkin roll, and they don't have it anymore.
I've not seen any pumpkin roll at all.
I wore them out last year. So last year I was like it was me. Every week I was buying another pumpkin roll. It was bad to the point where I was just like, there's just not. I need someone to like make these like on a more custom basis, like an actual baker go and bake it. So I have. 2, like Trader Joe's does one now, and now Walmart is doing one. But I was like trying not to Walmart so much. So I was like, okay, look, what could I do to kind of get this together? And of course I went to the whole, I can just make it like situation. I did that once and it was like triple fail. So
Danielle,
I was like, yes.
Nicole, I introduced you to Nicole.
Oh, are you saying that she makes them?
Well, no, she was my baker. And
really?
She was my baker when I was there. So
pumpkin roll, Nicole.
Okay, shout out.
I'm texting her right now.
Oh my gosh, hilarious.
See, we're gonna make this is the power of community, the power of connection. This is where we can get that pumpkin roll fix. Like, this is why we have a tribe.
Y'all. I appreciate y'all so much on this level. Don't be calling me out. Look.
I love it.
Hey, Nicole. We just want to say hey. That's all I want to say, since you don't be no more. Shout out. I absolutely love this, but I also wanted to kind of bring up for global diversity. I know we got off on this tangent. Global Diversity Month. So going back to this kind of robust, we're loud, proud, brown women who are in these spaces. I'm just really excited to be kind of representing some of that, right? We talked about some of the things, the accolades that we've received so far, and kind of being in these spaces and taking up that space. So, celebrating diversity in our podcast is really important to me, just because it's such a huge icon and identity to who we are. So that's a really big area of why I really wanted to start this journey. So long story short, I started this because I really found a deeper meaning and conversational piece in around being what my business hashtag is, which is #MoreThanGraphics. And I originally, I remember to this very day, sitting with Cicely inside of Core Life, right? We had lunch at Core Life, and I sat down and said, Cicely, I have this idea, and it would be so cool if you want to be a part of it. And when she said yes, I was like, okay, this is real. There's at least 2 in this checkbox. And then we added Brittany, and Brittany was definitely in. And I was just like, okay. So there's three of us now. And then as we kind of shift and transition, we have Priscilla. So, I mean, I just feel like this team has grown, right? Like we have exponentially found ways where we can continue to talk about our own experiences and still be vibrant in areas in and around tech and in and around being a creative. What does it mean to be a woman in tech or creative? I don't know. Like, how do you define that, ladies? How do you define being a woman in tech or being a creative?
Ooh, that's a hard hit. That's like an Oprah hard hitting journalism question.
Oh
My bad.
I don't know any other way to describe it. Right? Creative is creative. And I think I said once, because like we are the ultimate creators, right? Because we create light. Didn't get more creative than that.
Literally, well, that's the apex of creativity.
To get technical.
Right. Down to it. Yes. I agree. Like there has to be some level of, curation, right? But I also feel like too, for when we talk about the technical side, right? More like technical aspects, whether you're, an engineer, if you're working specifically in robotics, STEM, all those areas, it does still require some level of imagination, which is also a form of creativity. So I do feel like they're intertwined in a lot of ways. The tools that we need to do our job technically comes from a level of intuition and creativity that we have to think up before we can robotically do the things that we need to do. So I do feel like they're intertwined in some areas, but when you add that extra level of diversity, it adds that extra layer of our story, our personal backgrounds. For many of some of the great techs and some of the great creatives in our lane who are brown people or people of color, a lot of their backgrounds are very different than their counterparts, right? Their stories are different. And because they're different, it allows them to actually do greater or more impossible things, defy odds. So I really feel like that's really what I'm wanting to celebrate a part of International Podcast Day is defying odds, because I feel like that's what we're doing right now in the space by just being collectively together, laughing and giggling about pumpkin roll or pecan pies. We are defying a lot of things or spaces that weren't yet created or meant for women. But they are now. And I just feel like that's a huge testament to who we are as a collective, as a platform for women, but also in these spaces of, being in the tech and the creative spaces. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Random drop.
Well said.
I agree. Like I think one of the things that you mentioned that stood out for me is that a lot of times, we've had like the buzz words of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I think for a lot of like companies, those are just buzzwords. But for people of color, people who are immigrants, people who are, don't represent the majority of people that are in their spaces, that's something we've literally brought to every space that we show up to just by default. So it's not something I feel that a lot of people of color really sit down and think about on a regular basis, because we are just who we are. We exist how we exist. We have whatever upbringing that may be. So we bring that culture with us naturally, because it's very hard, obviously, to separate from who your parents are, who your people are, what your culture is, how you grew up. But I think one of the important things is that when there are people that don't look like you and there's so much diversity in a place, like, whether that be ethnic, cultural, language, whatever, that you learn so much. Like I know that when I went to college, originally got my bachelor's degree, I moved from a town of like 300,000 to a city of like 7 million. So I moved to New York City, and it was like culture shock. Like I had gone to another country, just because there was so much. I learned so much about my Muslim friends, about friends from different countries, so like Asian countries, from Russia. I learned that there's a lot of women in Russia. Like this is the most mind-blowing thing to me, and I love this girl to this day, and we're still friends. We keep in touch after college. But her name is Regina. Shout out to Regina. Love her so much. And she's from Tajikistan. And like before she ever opened her mouth, she would just look like a lady who's Chinese, Asian, from the Asian diaspora. She opens her mouth, has the thickest Russian accent you've ever heard in your life. And I was blown away. And I was like, wait a minute. So I went to a school that had a lot of international students, immigrants, first generation college students, first generation, like living here in the US as well, or maybe second generation. So we had like such a long talk and historical talk about Tajikistan and some of the other stands that are around Russia and, close to the Middle East in that area. So just from that one conversation, I was able to learn so much. So it never surprises me now when I see Asian men and women who have these beautiful, wonderful, what we would associate with, Russian accents who speak, I think she speaks 4 languages. It's ridiculous. And I was just so like, my world was so opened by her. Just one conversation, getting to know her as a person, learning about her family and like their struggle. They had some ethnic persecution. So that's why they came to the United States. But just like not having been in a space with a person like that before, I knew nothing about it. Like I was so ignorant to the fact that there are people who can look Asian and speak Russian and other languages. And I didn't know this existed. So I was maybe 20 when we met, but it's just so amazing. That's like kind of, one of those far-fetched examples, but just learning something like you're never too old to learn, and you're never too old to learn something from a new perspective or learn about other people and their culture. And I think it makes you a better person overall to know these things, because then you get to be in places where you don't feel uncomfortable. You can feel comfortable around anyone. Like I honestly at this point feel like I can go into a room with people who don't even speak English, but be able to adapt in a way, even if I don't speak their language, they don't speak mine, but be able to adapt in a way that we can connect as humans. And at 18 and 19, where I was living previously, where I grew up my whole life, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I couldn't have adapted to those situations and felt comfortable. So now I feel I'm able to do that. And that's because of diversity. That's because of me being open-minded. That's because of my horizons being broadened. And it never would have happened had I not literally thrown myself into those situations and made myself available. Like you have to be able to receive it. Like you can be around immigrants or people who don't speak English as their first language, or, be the only person that looks like you in that setting. But if you're not opening yourself up to learn from that situation, what are you gaining from it? Like you're just there, right? I want to do more than be there. I want to be up in there. I want to engage. I want to be a part of it for sure. Participate actively.
You are very actively doing it.
Always. I'm
for sure.
Hands.
So
hands flying everywhere.
Yes. No, I was thinking about the diversity as far as like you brought it up towards the end, Cicely, about age. For me, I like to say I'm the grandma of the group, but not really a grandma.
No.
Danielle.
Not an actual grandma.
No. That, I noticed, like for me, the diversity happened, once. It's also like when you change life stages, right? Because when I know as I became like an older single mom after my divorce, then it put me in a different place in which I had to kind of, expand my stuff. And then you think about it, that pandemic really made everybody truly like talk about global diversity. That's where we were able to reach people from all over the place. I mean, I know like that's one of the things I was introduced to you guys before all that stuff, but like a lot of the places like the entrepreneur thing, the entrepreneur thing is what led me to that, because due to the pandemic. And all these people that I've met that you're talking about, meeting all these wonderful, different, diverse people of all over the place, that never would have happened for me. Had I not gotten divorced and left Kentucky, even though now I'm still connected to Kentucky.
Forever.
Forever. But yeah, like starting my own business and then, just it's exciting, you think it's like, it's so, everybody can think like, well, I might say, I don't know, I'm not maybe associated with so many different, don't go around so many different people as you guys do, but it's like on a daily basis, those of us that are creatives and or entrepreneurs that are, everything's digital. So it's almost impossible that no one, is touched by it in some capacity.
Yes, the world is getting smaller. And
yes. Yeah. And speaking of small, I was going to say when you were talking about Brittany, that's how I met you guys, was because Brittany and I, back when I was in Kentucky, we were in a meetup. It was a digital media group. I think Leif was in that too. And that's how I met Brittany. And she and I kept in touch. And then, so that's why when you guys did that and she reached out to me, I mean, it was just a beautiful thing. And I love that, I saw that you guys got to celebrate Danielle's birthday together, and I was like, oh, I wish I could be there. But it was like such like a happy little family. And I was telling, Cicely, I was just telling Zoe, was just saying, and I said, oh, I'm going to be able to meet them, and she said, what do you mean you never met them before? She's
like, what a weirdo. Mom.
What is it? Yeah, we used to write letters together.
Pen pals from a land farm.
Pen pals. That's so funny. Okay, so real fact, just so you know, Priscilla, Danielle was also in the DMAG digital group back in the day. But I was not I was an active member.
Okay, because I was going to say, because if you were one of them sitting next to me, I'm feeling stupid.
No, I only came to like 1 or 2 meetings overall when it was active.
Yeah.
I was only in like 1 or 2 meetings, and I came to one, and it wasn't as many people, and I came to another one, it was really big. And then I just kind of went out from there. But it's so funny when you mentioned the DMAG group, I was like, oh, she's talking about DMAG. I was in DMAG. Oh my goodness. Like,
I tell you, I was a teacher once right now. They had, we had to do assignments and stuff. And so somebody assigned me some Photoshop. Photoshop. I freaked out. I was like, shit, I don't know nothing. So then I did something. And then Brittany was like, oh, because I didn't go. And she said, oh, that was so great. You did such a great job. I was like, okay, yeah.
Oh, yes. Shout out to Brittany. We miss you, lady. I think we're going to end up doing some sort of, we're doing a reunion something soon, aren't we? Are we planning something for end of year? Okay.
Yes.
So be on the lookout for that, just to say like a little buzz, tap in, hello. Just to kind of catch up with Brittany, because she's doing amazing things too right now.
Yeah.
So so I really want to keep this combo going because this is good. So again, all this diversity awareness, like again, going back to the diversity, because that's what we're kicking off real hard. Because October is Global Diversity Awareness Month. So we're just like, a few hours, ahead of that by like 4 on the side. So I'm really excited that we're kind of going into it by sharing a little bit more of our wisdom, our thought authority in some areas, if you will. I love the fact that all of our experiences are so very unique, inspiring, encouraging. Maybe a lot of other people who are listening to this right now are kind of like, yeah, I relate to this. Or, yeah, she's like telling my life story. Like, who is this? Maybe we need to.
For me too.
Exactly right.
She's so mad at me right now. I know.
But we can definitely like do, I know a lot of people can relate to some of those stories, which is why we want to tell them. We talk about a lot on this podcast, how much representation matters and how important that is, that we speak into these spaces, because more women need to hear it, specifically women of color. So I think it's really important that as we continue to go with More Than Graphics now, and it's, 5th season, y'all, I cannot believe it. It blows my mind that we've been doing this for 5 seasons. But it's so encouraging to hear other women go back and mention us in their social feeds or leaving reviews someplace. If you're listening and you haven't done that yet and you want to, we encourage you to do it. Like, go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review. Tell us how it's encouraging or inspiring you to do whatever it is that you dare to dream to do. I think that these spaces got to happen more often. We see them online in workshops. We see them in other places, maybe physically, but I love the fact that this is a podcast. It's a living, breathing, ongoing conversation that we can continually have with ourselves, with other people who could use the leg up. So, yeah, ladies, I'm trying to think of the topics wise. I'm going down my list. Okay, so last thing I kind of want to bring up, we kind of brushed on it a little bit, was just like some of the accolades. I want to celebrate more of us, honestly. And I think that's really important for us to kind of keep in mind, is that, we are starting from a very blank slated place, and we're kind of building upon the things that are happening based on the conversations that we're having. So, knowing again that we're like a top 10% podcast from listennotes.com, that's a great achievement. Out of the 3 million registered podcasts through listennotes.com, we're in the top 10%. So I love the fact that we're recognized in that way. And we just recently got our Good Pods Top 100 Podcast for Self-Improvement badge, just like literally 2 days ago. So I am celebrating all these spaces that we're in. We've been multiple nominated for multiple different types of podcast awards. And I think that's really humbling as well. We just are not, I'm not necessarily saying all this to boast. It's more of a matter of, this is a community that we've built and people are recognizing it. And that kind of what is kind of like happening now with season 6, as we're kind of pivoting and making some changes on the back end on our side, so that we can better accommodate the community that's growing in authority. What are y'all thoughts on all this? Like, this is all new stuff.
Yes, I agree. And I think like kind of getting those awards and the accolades are really just a testament to how we've really found our own voice and found exactly like we get in where we fit in, and we found out where that fitting in is now. So I think that's important as well. I feel like the first maybe 3 seasons were more exploratory, and then kind of season 4 and then this season, of course, we've really been able to like hone in and capture who we are, what we want to represent. One of the big things that we talked about in like our, you know, kind of personal podcast meeting, like our podcast staff meeting, we talked about intersectionality a lot. And so I think at the very beginning of the podcast, we didn't realize like how many intersections, how many different sort of ways that we kind of cross with different sorts of subsections, subcategories. But then once we really honed into that, we realized that like, you know, we represent all of these things, but it does fall under one umbrella, and we are able, it was hard to kind of put us in a box, so to speak. So we're still, you know, we're still on the fringes of some things, but I feel like having that new direction and really being able to solidify that direction has made a big difference for us, and will definitely make a big difference for our listeners moving forward.
Can I just say, I am really proud of you two. I am. It's like, mama gonna cry. No, just because, you know, just being on the outside, like seeing you guys over the years and stuff, and just to, I am gonna, feelings, mommy feelings. No,
Yeah.
I mean, you both inspire me so much, and I've loved like being like on the other end of the mic. Well, no, I guess I'm still on the same side of the mic, but on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's like beautiful. Like I love, like, you know, getting more into your guys' brains on how and you know, and I don't think people realize, you know, like what goes into the planning of it. And so, you know, I have a much more appreciation for, you know, what you guys do, or have done over. I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long time, girl.
It's been a minute, and it feels good to see the community respond the way that it has, right? Like over the years, we've had to figure some things out. We've had to, that's like you said, those first 3 seasons, we were all trying to coast and figure out what's working, what's not working. And as you have said, Cicely, we're starting to better fine tune and find our tribe. We are doing really good with understanding who our audience is, the people we want to speak to, the women we want to speak to. And then just go after it. The worst thing that could ever happen is really nothing. There's like no bottom there. It's always a learning curve, right? We're forever students. That's how I always kind of word it to myself. I'm a forever student. I'm never a master of everything, because there's always something new to learn tomorrow. And when we come from that mindset of being a sponge, I think that's what helps us better acclimate and find more people who are in similar spaces and places. So again, just being that safe place, again, for women in tech is really where I'm coming from. If you're mad at the man and you want to give your 2 cents, you can put it in these comments and we will read it aloud if you need to. If you are venting because of being passed up for a job opportunity when you know you had the guts, the glory, the experience, the everything else, we're here for you. You know, all these areas that, like you said, the intersectionality where things cross, the hairs cross, that's where I feel like we are able to kind of help build a support system for, just in this virtual space. So yeah, I mean, like, I really appreciate the compliment, Priscilla, but I mean, now you're a part of that too. So you're a part of that magic as well. That's what makes it super fire.
Priscilla, awesome. The compliment generator. She doesn't like accepting those compliments, but she loves dishing them out. So you got to take the compliments now too, Priscilla.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Gross.
Priscilla's ick is receiving compliments.
That's not my love language. What are you talking about?
Stop.
But it's weird. It's actually, words of affirmation really are my.
I told you, I was like, we need to do a recording where it's like you saying like wonderful compliments and affirmation to other people, and then we'll do one for you so you can just listen to it on repeat. Like, Priscilla, you are beautiful and loved. And like, you know, we're gonna put some like woo-woo music in the background, like some strings, maybe a piano.
You talk to Spooner or Tanya, they'll say they say things, and I'm like, just shut up.
Oh.
Yeah,
we appreciate that about you.
Yes. I say let's make it a TikTok stitch where we each say it to each other, and then we can put it on TikTok and do all the things, and then we can just watch it whenever we want, and it'll be on repeat.
Oh, I thought you were going to
publicly
make
documented.
compliments, and then you'll see me like puking into it.
Stop it. That's going to be your duet. You're going to duet.
Right. I was going to say.
Terrible.
I can't breathe.
Hold on for a second. I'll be right back. Wait a minute. No,
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Nicole's right on it. We can sing each other's praises and hate our own. Yes, yes, yes.
Makes sense.
We'll give you that. We'll give you that one for sure. Okay. Well, I kind of want to wrap up with some thoughts in general just around fall seasons. We kind of talk about this a little bit more amongst my own staff at Octane, but we talk a lot about, when things change, when things are transitioning, so does life, right? And so I really kind of want to end the podcast episode tonight celebrating International Podcast Day with some thoughts and aspirations of hope, positivity, wherever you are in that space, whatever field you may be in, whatever title that you're wearing. We just want you to feel encouraged and empowered by just being yourself, being your genuine self. And it's really important for us to continually support other women in similar spheres that are maybe not similar spheres, but in similar places where you feel, again, encouraged and supported in whatever way possible. Fall is all about transition from one thing to another. It's the energy of one thing transforming into another thing. You can take that as a scientific lesson. You can take it as a life lesson. Either way it goes, the energy is moving. So I just want you to kind of be aware, wherever you are in the space, that you have the authority, the power, the empowerment to make whatever you want of that energy. That's really what my focus was for today. Okay, moving next. Who's next? Final thoughts, ladies.
Surrounding fall, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people feel like spring is kind of the renewal season, but I feel like fall for me is also like really, it's an invigorating time. Unfortunately for like the past, 7 million years, fall has always surrounded school for me. So I think that's probably why like I get invigorated around fall, because I'm coming off of a summer break and, like I'm getting renewed for the semester ahead. But in general, I just feel like even though like fall is a time where the seasons change, the foliage is happening, you're getting different colors. So you're really being able to feel that change in the air. I love the cooler weather. So that makes me happy. I hate summer. Like I'm that person. I don't want to be burning up. Like I can burn, right? I can be cool in the AC all summer long and be fine. But fall, I can go outside, I can walk, I can breathe. I'm not getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. So for me, the fall is one of my favorite times because I reflect a lot during the fall. I really just get a chance to slow down, even with school. I still get a chance to just slow down and kind of work on, my winter hibernation and figure out what that's going to look like until I reemerge in the spring. So I love fall for that reason. And I think it's as good of time as any to kind of reflect on the year. We're like 75% done with the year at this point. Tomorrow is the beginning of the last quarter of the year. Mm-hmm. So it's just a really good time to reflect on where you've been so far in the year, what you like your big push for the end of the year, and then what you would like to manifest or have happen in the year that's coming.
Wow. Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. Fall, it was so funny when you're talking about the leaves and stuff. This is my little thing I forgot to tell you guys about. But we were out at the bus stop and Max, he saw the leaves and he goes, he's like, the fall, he's like, the leaves are changing. He goes, you know what this means? He goes, winter is coming.
Oh, stop it. I love it.
I said, no kidding, Jon Snow. I said, no kidding, Jon Snow. It is coming. Winter is coming. No, but it's one of my favorite seasons as well, just because I kind of am okay with the hot, but I think I may be in the perimenopausal thing. So hot, not so, I don't get along with that so great anymore, but I love the fall. I think I've always loved the fall because then you can wear looser clothes because, looser clothes, right? And like now I know I need to get a lot more, what do they call them? Joggers, lounge wear,
lounge attire.
I guess this is where people start wearing dresses and skirts, right? Yeah, no, I do. I like it because I think it's pretty and it's cozy, but it's like weird. I think my feelings for pumpkin has changed. Don't get mad at me and don't kick me off or anything. But I tried a pumpkin drink the other day and I was like, oh, it's a little much for me. But I still love the smell. I think I'm now into the apple cider things, And but yeah, I love the smell of fall.
Yes.
And then
Me too.
and then staying in and getting to watch like some shows and just kind of chilling out, and I don't have to feel like I have to be anywhere. It's okay.
Yeah, the slowdown.
It's okay.
Right?
Yeah,
for that.
it's nice to be chill, but I still want to have some sunshine. I mean, I can't, that's where the thing is, right? With the seasonal, sometimes it's just like, that's a little too gloomy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of those happy, didn't you guys, when you guys have those happy lamps or something?
Yeah,
I do not. Is it you, Danielle?
I have the natural light alarm, like it wakes me up with natural sunlight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I need that.
That's
Yeah,
really
I'm not ready for this. Like, you wake up and it's dark. You go to sleep and it's dark.
Yeah, it's dark
like
all,
I'm in
all
a
day.
zombie movie or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I thrive in the dark. I feel like I do really well with some of the gloom. I can't say all of it because I do love sunlight. But I love the cold. So, sunny and cooler weather is my jam. It's cosplay season for me. So I am like every other day, who do I want to be today? Do I want to be Harley? Do I want to be Wednesday? Like we can kind of be all the things. So I really love the fact that this season is just a matter of harnessing energy, transitioning energy into the things that we want to, whatever it is that we want to be. So that's my wrap up, I think, for MTG, y'all. Yep. Got one more.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember. You were talking about this, and then all of a sudden my brain started, brainstorming word association. Friday the 13th. What are we doing for Friday the 13th? Because Cicely, last year or the year before, Danielle and my friend Heather and I, we watched Friday the 13th on last Friday the 13th together, and we did a stream. Remember that? And Heather was on a train going.
She was literally
she had
traveling.
The full mask. We were still masking up, and so she had that. And just like I think I couldn't see it, you can see it, or something like that. But yeah, we need to do something like that. I tried to go look for these Jason cookies at this one place, but the bakery shut down, so I'm so sad. So I'm gonna have to see what Nicole can put together for us.
We're gonna keep using her. We're gonna lean hard on Nicole.
That's my jam.
Later. Oh my gosh!
Try to get me. I'm up here. She got to drive up here to get me.
I absolutely love where this is going. So maybe we can work out something for Friday. If not, we can do something collectively together. Maybe in a video or a TikTok. I know, Nicole, y'all. I know. But I love that we can all celebrate our unique things individually and still be unified on this amazing front. That's what makes MTG so special. So for everyone out there, thank y'all for watching. And we're celebrating International Podcast Day today. It's all about celebrating the freedom that podcasting gives us as women, the freedom that comes with just sharing our voices, and the freedom of just being our unique selves on a platform that is kind of becoming more and more diversified with more and more different types of voices every single day, whether you're listening on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us on this very special episode of the More Than Graphics podcast. Ladies, I think that's a wrap. Are we good?
We are great.
All right, y'all. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for watching.
Bye.
And just like that, the episode ends, but the convo has just begun.
Thanks for listening to the MTG podcast.
We want to hear from you. If you enjoyed our podcast, give it a review on your listening app of choice.
Continue to follow us across MTG social.
And look out for bonus content releases throughout the year. This podcast is produced by Octane Design Studios.
Until next time, friend.